Hello, Steeler Nation, and welcome to the latest episode of your Steelers Syndicate podcast. With me, your host, Britsburgh. Owen. Sorry for the late start. Many technical difficulties here in the UK. I think everything over here is just falling apart in this country at this moment in time. Mark, how are you? How are you? And how's Australia doing?
We're just behind you, mate. So I just found out that you haven't got a prime minister, so that's kind of funny.
Yeah, we haven't got anything, mate.
No one's leading your country, I guess. Well, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know what's going on over there. So there might be. Let's send Matt Canada over there to design some to take care of the country. That'll be good for you.
Oh, I don't know. To be honest with you, he couldn't do any worse. He could not do any worse. Anyway, let's not talk politics because we could offend somebody, and that's not a good thing. We've got a fair few people in the live chat today. Steeler Girl 808 says hi guys. I know State of the Steelers is in the live chat. We just try and pull up a comment. State of the Steelers says what's up. Daredevil, hey. Jake says Canada. Hello from Canada. Here we go, Steelers, and go Pens later against the LA Kings. Definitely. George Testing in the live chat. Got some dude called Steelers Nation Australia. Do you know who he is, Mark?
That's me, mate.
Is it?
That's just some bloke on YouTube that has no idea what he's talking about, and he's never watched the game in his life. He's not a fan. And his opinion doesn't matter.
We've got Juice GME who says, what are the chances TJ Watt can return for this Sunday night football game? Juice 0 because he's still on IR. He hasn't had his 21-day clock activated. Rumor is it'll be activated Monday at the earliest. So unfortunately, we won't have him at all. There you go, Juice. Sorry to squash your enthusiasm there. JJ52 says, howdy partners. Lots of people in live. Keith Richard. I wonder if that's Keith Richard says, will Claypool be traded soon? Keith, I want to know something. Keith Richard, wasn't that the dude that was in the Rolling Stones?
Yeah, I thought he was a singer. Was he not a singer?
He's in. I'm sure he's in the Rolling Stones. Keith Richard. Keith Richard, is that you? Are you from the Rolling Stones? Have we got rock royalty in the live chat?
You never know with this whole YouTube thing, right? You never know. Like for any case, you could be part of a band, and we don't know. You know what I'm saying? You're saying you went to hospital and got surgery. Maybe you went and robbed a bank and got hurt. We don't know.
Yeah, that's what already happened. I went to a bank and got shot. Don't know. Anyway, Mark, shall we talk Pittsburgh Steelers rather than?
Yeah, man, I'm ready. Well, you know what? No, we're making rumors up, and that's what's been happening the last week or so with the Matt Canada and the QB1 controversy. But I'm ready to talk Steelers because there's like after the win. It should have felt more like a win when we beat Tom Brady. And now we've got momentum going into the Dolphins game. So I'm super ready for this week, eh? Sunday night football, we're one game away from the North.
Exactly. It's all very, very tight, isn't it? The AFC as a whole, I think bar sort of Buffalo, who are 5-1, it is all very, very tight across the whole of the AFC. So I want to address this question that we had in the live chat about Chase Claypool. Obviously, there's a lot of rumours going around at this moment in time that Keith Richard says, apparently it's not Keith Richard from the Rolling Stones. He has confirmed that later on. He says, will Claypool be traded soon? Mark, what's your take on the whole Claypool to the Packers rumours that's going around?
Well, I've been wanting to get rid of Claypool for probably a year or two. You know what I mean? So it's not really news to me. The reason why they're saying they want to trade him is because he's been playing better, right? Now, my biggest worry is if Claypool's playing better, he might regress, and because that was his best game in a very long time. Like, he played fantastic. The football thrown down the sideline, Claypool making the touchdown in the end zone. He played some good football. He had 7 catches, and he's playing really well. But I think you don't miss too much. Now, I did say on a podcast I did with Stay the Steelers on Stay the Steelers YouTube, I did say that you could put in Sims, but now Sims has been injured, so he's got a hip. So you probably can't, if you trade him now, you haven't got the depth behind Claypool. You know what I mean? Because you've got Miles Boykin, you've got Oshesky, you've got Calvin also coming back. But I would like to see Steven Sims get more reps as a punt returner and as a receiver. But now he's going to be injured, so you pretty much have to go with Claypool. But I'd say if they trade him, you want to get something back for it. Maybe a 2, maybe a 3. I don't know if you'll get a 1 or something like that, but I think you'll get something back for it. But the Steelers always seem to find receivers. So, and the thing is, will he be a future Pittsburgh Steeler in 2-3 years? I don't think so. It might be best for both parties.
Yeah, I mean, there is that rumor, and there was the rumor going around that Omar Khan was shopping him before the season anyway, but there were no takers, I think, given on the back of the 2021 season and obviously the antics we had in the 2021 season. I think my personal opinion is that we should keep him because of the fact that the more weapons you can surround a rookie quarterback with, the better. But there is the other argument that obviously Deontay Johnson's just signed a new deal. We've just drafted Austin, we've drafted Pickens, and Claypool goes into the final year of his rookie contract next year. So theoretically, he could walk for nothing next off season. So there is obviously that debate going around, and the Packers are very desperate for wide receivers at this moment in time.
Here's a question: would you be upset if they were to trade him away for a good, a good draft pick or something like that? Because me, I wouldn't be. I'd be like, okay, see you, mate. Thank you. Someone else is going to fill your role. I wouldn't be too upset. But would you be annoyed if they got rid of him and they could use like Claypool to win games?
I'm a Chase Claypool fan. I like Chase Claypool. I think he's a good player, and I wouldn't be upset if we got like a second for him. Anything less than a second, then I just don't see. Especially, and I'm not saying he's probably worth a second, but I just think in a buyer's market like it is at the moment, where the Packers are desperate, and that's the key word. They are desperate at the moment because they are struggling offensively, and Rodgers just doesn't.
Who do they have?
Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Sammy Watkins, and then they've got those 2 rookies, Christian Watson and Dobbs.
So they need someone.
They're desperate. So it's a buyer's market. So if we were to get anything less than a second for him, I'd say it was a waste of time. If it was me personally, I would trade it. I would trade them. I'd give them Deontay Johnson rather than Chase Claypool, because Johnson for me is one of those players who, when the going gets tough, he goes missing.
Okay, do you think it's actually going to happen though? Will the Steelers and the Packers come to an agreement? Look, all this trade talk happens every single day about different players, right? Will this actually happen? That's the thing.
I think there's a strong possibility because of the fact that, like I said, he is coming towards the final year of his rookie deal. They've just re-signed Johnson, so it's unlikely that they're going to pay a lot of money to Claypool. Given the fact they've also drafted Pickens, who is a very similar type wide receiver to Claypool in terms of physical skill sets and things. And in addition to that, the Steelers have given away draft picks already for 2023. I think we've got a first, a second, a third, a fourth, and 2 sevenths at this moment in time. And we are unlikely to get any comps given the number of free agents that we've signed. So part of me thinks that, if they could get another second, then given the fact that there is a need to rebuild the D-line, because Cam's not getting any younger, Ogunjobi's only on a 1-year contract, Alualu's probably done after this season, and the O-line has no depth behind it, there could be a desire there to stack picks ready to rebuild in this forthcoming draft.
I wonder if it's like, if they get rid of Claypool, if it's more on, Matt Canada and his offense, because if he can't scheme up CA3 to join, then how is he going to replace a guy like Claypool? Now, look, I have been on his ticket a few times, but he did play some really good football last game and showed his true abilities. So in that sense, how would Matt Canada, design? What is Matt Canada design? I still get very. You get frustrated. I've stopped myself. But do you get frustrated with this whole Matt Canada stuff when you bring him up? Because I still find his offense so completely boring. Anyways, But how does he scheme or get someone involved in the offense if Claypool goes away? You know what I mean?
Yeah, ultimately, yeah. And I mean, Mackenzie and I were talking about this last night on the podcast, the Steel Kingdom podcast that I did on my channel last night. And we both were saying that, isn't it a damning indictment of Matt Canada that the comment that seems to be coming out is the fact that he doesn't know how to use Calvin Austin? Yet this guy is meant to be a professional offensive coordinator.
That's what I mean.
He just doesn't. I mean, what a damning indictment of him that he says he doesn't know how to use him, and the fact that the way it's looking at the moment, we could have a situation where Austin actually is out for the whole season now, even though he's fit, because the Steelers haven't put him back onto the roster, which would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
In my opinion.
let's change gears. Let's change gears. When will they reignite CA3 or start, not reignite?
You know, it's got to be this week or next week. If he doesn't play in the Eagles game, that's it. He cannot play again this season. He is on season-long IR. He is gone for the rest of the season. And why would you do that? I just don't understand when you've got someone who is a weapon like he is, with the speed he has, the elusiveness that he has. And I know he hasn't played NFL football, and I know he hasn't played at this level, and he's a little dude, and I get that, but this, by the same token, if he hasn't even been tried out at this level, unless they're seeing something in practice that we don't see, I don't know.
It is frustrating because I did see that interview with Canada, and I saw yourself and Mackenzie talking about the Canada situation. It is very frustrating because you have all these weapons, and it feels like the Matt Canada offense doesn't know what to do with them. But they snuck away with a win with Trubisky. They did some really good things, but I don't know. Maybe they won't trade Claypool. There's something that says they won't do it, because if they trade Claypool away, who fills his spot, and how does Canada, change the offense? And he won't change it. It's run, pass. That's what it is. And I don't expect anything different. The only thing I expect is like Kenny Pickett breaking it down, running for a first down or something like that, or getting out open space and then finding someone to really to spark the offense. But other than that, the Canada offense, he's so quietly confident for someone who's doing a rubbish job. And it's getting pretty frustrating. And I don't think he's going to be fired anymore. I don't think Mike Tomlin won't be fired. He'll be to the end of the year. But they're in a good chance, I think, versus Dolphins team, 2-4, and they're 3-3, right? Yeah. Because we're getting some of our stars back. I believe we're getting Muth back too. Is that correct?
Yeah, looking at the injury report from today, I have got it somewhere. Let me just see if I can find it. Looking at the injury report from today, this was the injury report today, and it looks a lot better than it has done. You've got Pickett was a full participant, Sutton full participant, Witherspoon full participant, Wallace full, Minka full, James Pierre limited participant, but that's not an issue because the rest of them are back. Jack full, Cole full, James Daniels full participant, Stephen Sims, like you said, didn't practice, Freya Muth full participant, Chris Wormley full participant, Cam Haber was given a Veterans Day off, and Ogunjobi was back as well. So that does look an awful lot better than it did for the Bucs game, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's much more promising now. I think if we go into I think we have a chance this game. Actually, I think the Dolphins getting Tua back. Of course, they won 3-0 with him, but then they lost 3 without him. So I believe getting back at it, the Steelers have a chance in prime time, and this would be like Kenny Pickett's. Hopefully, he's good to go. Do you think Kenny Pickett's going to be good to go?
It seems to be. He was a full participant today. Mackenzie had an interesting take last time I was talking to her. She said it seemed more like he had whiplash than actual concussion because it was his head
it seemed more precautionary than it did seem that he was out. And then now that he's practicing and being back at it, of course, ever since Tua went down, but he got knocked out. Like you could see Tua went knocked out. His fingers cramped up and he was gone. The blood brain connection all lost, consciousness. He was gone. But whereas Pickett just like fell down and rolled back, and that to me was more precautionary than anything else. They sent him out, and maybe that's the way he meant to do it. We have the thing here in the NRL or the rugby league. If they get knocked up, they have a check for 10 minutes and they're out for 10 minutes. So they might do a thing where if you get knocked to the ground, you could be out, and you might be seeing more players take time off just to be precautionary rather than wait until the actual concussion happens, then get him off. So I didn't mind that, but if he's fine, let him play. It's going to be Kenny Pickett versus Tua. The thing is, though, I think the Steelers have a chance in this game. I think I have a better chance in this game than I did with the Bucs. Defense coming back. Guys are playing some good football. It just all depends if they can. To me, it's like, how do we run the ball? And the offense, like I think Steeler Girl said it, is incompetent. It's just, but it's not going to change, right? It's going to be a very frustrating season, and I don't think we're ever going to outscore anyone by 20 points or 21 points. We're going to be sneaking away wins and probably relying on our defense because Matt Canada just can't get the job done. But it is frustrating. Go back to the point of Claypool and CA3 coming into the mix. It's frustrating because, I don't know, I just don't feel confident. I don't feel this good feeling about Matt Canada. You know what I mean? It's weird.
I agree with you, Mark. You don't ever feel that this offense is going to go out there and blow anybody away, is it? It's not going to go out there and, like you said, blow anyone out. It's just there's a certain predictability to it all the time. The run, pass, punt. It just doesn't seem to have any sort of variety at all. It seems too predictable. It seems, the opposition, not defenses, figure it out very quickly. I mean, obviously on Sunday there's going to be a need for them to change it up a little bit because I mean, the Steelers seem to have this allergic reaction to throwing the ball over the middle. Now, Freiermuth is obviously back Sunday. We've got to go over the middle more. I mean, as Pittsburgh Dad joked, didn't he, on that video? I don't know if you've seen the latest Pittsburgh Dad video, but he joked that the pigeons were flying around above Acrisure Stadium, needed somewhere to land, saw the middle of the field, went the Steelers don't use that. We'll just go and land there, shall we, and stay there for the game. I think
he said the middle?
In the middle of the field, yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant.
I think there's got to be there's a twofold need to really use that middle of the field on Sunday, which is number one,
They used it with Connor Hayward in that big play, right? They started to use it, and Trubisky came out and was playing for, I guess, just to win the game and trying to get back to being the quarterback one topic or solution, but he's not. Anyways, he went out there and played some good football and let it loose. And even in the first drive, too, going back to the Bucs game, the first drive, they let things loose, didn't they? They just ran out and threw the football and they were ready to go. They went down the field, got it 7-0, right? Things were starting to happen. And then from there, they just went back to the same old run, pass, run, whatever. And how do you not figure out they're running into, an 8-man box or they're running straight into the line? The run game is pretty poor. Like it is probably the poorest I think we've ever seen in Pittsburgh Steelers history, maybe since like the 1940s or something. It's real bad.
Do you think? I mean, do you think they've got to use the middle on Sunday to try and open up the run game as well as obviously keep the ball away from Xavier Howard, the Dolphins superstar cornerback?
He's pretty good. They just got to do something where they're designing. I just want to see some better route concepts and some better, like as Mackenzie said it too, creativity. But it's just something about that he's not using anything like that. It's like he's been using the same playbook or the same scheme or same everything ever since last year. And I'm kind of sick of seeing the one good run I saw with Najee Harris was when he was in Wildcat because he could see the whole field. He saw the whole field and he just ran straight. I'm kind of sick of seeing the shotgun runs don't work. The halfback tosses don't work. Those kind of things don't really work. I don't know what it needs. I think these guys are physical enough to go on to beat other humans in front of them. But Matt Canada it's just like he goes with a few plays and, the 15 points we're scoring per game is not going to cut it. Like it was a great game last week because our defense stepped up big time. And it was 20-18. It was fantastic. One of the best games I think I've ever seen. Coach Tomlin, coach and all that kind of stuff. But there is still the underlying factor that, why aren't they going to using Pickens more? Why aren't they getting DJ more involved in routes? Why aren't they going to Claypool most of the time? It's just these things aren't happening until the dire straits of things right near the end.
Yeah. I mean, 007 it makes an interesting point. Let's get your thoughts on this, Mark. Flores has been licking his chops for this game. I mean, what influence do you think Brian Flores is going to have over this game, Mark?
He has to have some kind of. I want to see what he did to the Ravens, where it was Miami Dolphins versus the Ravens. I want to see that mentality. Why can't we go back to Britsburgh? We've got the players who can do it. Sure, TJ Watt is out, but you got the players who can do it. I wouldn't even mind see them. Back in the days when you see the Steelers play, they would show 8 and they would rush 4 or rush 5 and drop 3. You know what I'm saying? Like schemes like that, like where it was kind of like you didn't know who was going to drop, you didn't know who was going to blitz. Like that kind of stuff is key, I think, to getting to Tua. You can't let Tua be back there and scan the field and just go through the motions, and they know they're only going to rush, 4 after Tua. I believe if you design some blitz schemes, and I'm not a coach, but I have played a bit of Madden, and if you're gonna blitz some of them and drop back, mix it up a little bit. Mix it up. We saw what Malik Reed did in coverage. He came back a little bit, got his hand on the football, and it was a stop. We saw what Terrell Edmonds was doing too. Terrell Edmonds coming down the box. This to me is a big game for Flores to put some of his skill set into the defensive plan. They have to all work together. They all worked together really well last week with backups. Now you're getting back Minka too. It's going to be awesome.
My good buddy here, Mason Rudolph. I wonder if it is Mason. Hey, Mason.
Could be.
He loves me, Mason, you know. What are your thoughts on my boy James JP Island?
He's a funny one, isn't he? You give him the starter role when he plays. He played okay last week. The minute, though, you give him the backup or limited reps, he goes missing. You know what I mean? But I think it's got to do with a lot with Terrell Edmonds organizing this defense too. No Terrell Edmonds in the Bills game. Things were happening. There was massive big plays all the time. But in the game versus the Bucks, there was no big play. There was not one big play. It was all short stuff, and Brady got confused and messed around, and then we had a chance. So I'm pretty hyped up, actually. I really think like this is what's going to hurt me because I'm so hyped up. I think we can win, and I want to see the defense do the same thing they did against the Bills. But what can happen, Owen? They can go back, right?
Yeah,
they can easily turn it back.
One of the big things, obviously, we've got Levi Wallace back. Well, it seems to be that Wallace is back, Witherspoon's back, Sutton's back, Minka's back, and Terrell is back. How important is that, given the fact that the Miami Dolphins offense is a passing offense? You know, it is based around throwing the ball. And to win this game, you've got to stop Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Mike Gesicki. How set up do you think the Steelers are to actually go and do that on Sunday?
You know what? I saw a stat out there. I'm just trying to find it, the Miami Dolphins stat. But I think I saw a stat out there was Waddle and Tyreek Hill have 1,200 yards between them. 1,200. So they have to. They just. I don't know. I want to see something from Terrell Austin, who's meant to be secondary. Mike Tomlin, who's these guys are all defensive coaches, right? Put together a game plan, get after Tua, and lock down these guys. Maybe if you got to play more physical, because Waddle and Tyreek Hill, they're little fellas, aren't they?
Yeah.
Can you not push them off the line or something, or just hold them back? I don't know. Just don't let them get past you. You can't let them get past you.
Yeah, and I think we've got to see the pass rush, like you said, something different scheme to get after Tua, to put him under pressure, to not give him the time to try and find Waddle, to try and find Hill. It's going to be absolutely vital that, I thought Larry Ogunjobi played really, really well on Sunday against the Bucs. So, we're looking for Ogunjobi to have that similar type of game. I mean, what was your take on the Ogunjobi performance?
To me, he's playing like a Steeler. Like he doesn't look like he's even. Who was he with again? Browns. I always forget. Browns and Bengals.
He was with the Bengals last year, and before that, he was with the Browns. He was with Myles Garrett with that incident where Mason Rudolph got his helmet taken off,
and now they're best mates.
Yeah, apparently so.
No, I don't mind. I think he's playing pretty good. I think he's helping the line out. I think him and Cameron Hayward are having a good time there. Defensive line was awesome. It seemed like that game last week, and that's why I don't want to get too overhyped, but I'm starting to, because it's our Pittsburgh Steelers, right? We're 2-4. But to me, it's like that's what I want to see him do every game. Play with heart, play with passion, because they did that. You could see that there was just different. They were tackling harder. They were rolling to the football. They were getting to Tom Brady. They were in his face. Highsmith got a sack. I believe Malik Reed was in there too, or Cam was in there every time.
Got a sack, yeah.
Like this is what you pay these guys top dollar for. And it kind of sucks. It came that, you lost 4 in a row and you had to go and amp yourself up. So now, like, it is pretty hard to stack wins. But this defense can get the Tua, because Tua coming back as well. I don't believe that Tua's going to go out there and light us up, because he just got back from injury. He legit just got knocked out 2 weeks ago. So, look how it changed. It changed Rudolph when he started throwing football. I could see that maybe Tua might be changed a bit. Bit of a psyche. He might go into a throwing motion where he might think, holy crap, I'm going to get lit up soon.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously that as well. Like I said, get in his face, make him panic a little bit more. Jay Devil says a healthy defense is an exciting one, and TJ is going to be the cherry on top when he returns. And certainly there seems to be a strong rumor that his return is going to be sooner rather than later. And Steeler Girl 808 says, yes, the defense as a whole played very well last Sunday. Hopefully our ones play just as well. I think that's going to be the big thing. Obviously, having that full defense back does give us the opportunity, doesn't it?
What if the ones don't play well?
Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it? So what do you do then? I suppose the thing is, though, do they come back with a little bit of pressure on them after that performance, after the performance of the backups against the Bucks?
Well, they have to, because we've all talked about this. When the team was playing terrible, they had to sit some people, right? Sit some starters, and they kind of sat because they had to, because they were injured. And then you look at the play from Josh Jackson was pretty good. The play from Pierre, those kind of guys, everything was pretty good out there.
Yeah.
And now you get your starters back, and you go, well, I'm a starter, but have you earned that run? You got to just go out there and play. I just want to see yet again. Look, I think for many years watching our team on, we always had Big Ben and AB and a chance to win, and they were passionate about our team. But the last few years, I just don't want to see us go backwards, because that could so easily happen. Because if we go and lose 30-10 and the offense is bad, I'm playing devil's advocate here. Really bad offense, can't run the ball. Pickett's in trouble. Pickett's throwing picks he shouldn't be throwing. Tua goes out there and wins 28-10. Then we're back to square one. You got to build off this, man. You have to build off this. This is like, you got a good win over Brady. Go out there, stun the Dolphins on prime time.
Yeah. Reginald Rivers in the live chat says, and it's, I think, something as a fan base, I think we all feel, don't we? I think you just alluded to that in what you were saying there, Mark. I don't trust the Canada offense, and that's the big thing.
If he gave me like a bottle of water with no label on, I wouldn't believe him. I wouldn't know what it was. I don't know what, I'm saying? I think because he's so arrogant in his press conferences, and since you've told me about that, I didn't really pick up on it. But he's so arrogant in his press conferences that he speaks with this machismo, but your product doesn't show it. You have 14 points a game on offense. And most of those points are backed up by turnovers and our defense getting back at it. And you have like one good drive, I think, in 5 games. So to me, it's frustrating because you're that confident and nothing's happening. That's what's frustrating.
Yeah, he's like a few people I've known over the years, and including somebody I used to work for, who I won't name for legal reasons. But he seems to be, he's very much style over substance. He talks a great game. He gives off that, like you said, the machismo, that the moxie that he is this awesome coordinator, and how dare anybody speak down to him. But what he actually turns out on the field is just absolute garbage. I think there's a saying we have over here, Marky. He's all fur coat and no knickers. I think
that's definitely your saying. That's not one of my sayings.
It's an English thing, mate.
I don't know. For me, it's just, you have such talented roster. You have, let's forget about the skill players. You have a rookie quarterback that you can pretty much do whatever you want with, right?
Yeah.
You can game plan super thing, anything. You've got like guys like Connor Hayward when Muth went out. You know that Connor Hayward can play now. You saw how well he was blocking. You saw that Jalen Warren's in there. Najee Harris needs to be used more and used more effectively. All these pieces, and nothing happens. Yeah. Nothing happens. So I'm always a bit skeptical about that, because when we turn the game on, it could be 3 and out, or it could be a drive for 7. But I think this team needs to rally together and probably, execute the plays, whatever they are. But same time, it's a little something in the feeling in your heart, like, oh, you don't really trust it.
No, that's the thing. And, there's got to be, I think on Sunday, there's got to be a way to, they've got to establish the run. They've got to keep the Dolphins offense off the field. And that's going to be one of the keys for victory, is really got to be keeping those Dolphins off the field. Now, how do they establish the run? I think having Freiermuth back is going to be a big thing, because not only is he very good at blocking, he can also open the middle of the field. And I think that is absolutely key, that we throw the ball over the middle of the field, because it will make their players back off. People have said, and there was a great analysis. I can't think it was Ramon Foster I heard talking about this. So he talked about Najee Harris, and people saying, well, Warren's done better than Harris. But he was saying, if you actually watch the footage, if you look at when Harris gets the ball, about 8 people all zoom into the line, whereas when Warren gets it, they back off because they don't think he's as big a threat. Now, what we've got to do is try and find some way to open the field a little bit for Najee Harris. I think there was a point earlier in the live chat that, bouncing him outside doesn't work because he hasn't got the speed. Harris is not a particularly quick running back, so we've got to find some way to open that running game over the middle. And even with if the line are opening holes, you've still got to get past those linebackers. And I think using Freiermuth over the middle and Gentry to some degree as well will get their players to back off. And I think that is absolutely vital on Sunday.
Well, here's the thing. What is really missing in this run game? We always talk about they need to run better. Is it like the skill technicians up front that needs to beat a man? Is it scheme where they need to pull the guard? Is it more, they need to do, I don't know, halfback draws, or what do they like? I don't really understand, because every time I watch it now, the last fight, the whole season is they run into the wall every time they run into a wall. And even there was a play last week which was terrible. It was like a read option to Najee Harris, and then Trubisky had to keep the ball because otherwise Najee was going to get hit in the backfield. Is it the quarterback not reading the blitz and not changing the play? You know what I mean? Like, what is happening in this run game? Because we've seen it with Bell and we've seen it with like Bettis and all those dudes back in the day. Things worked, but this doesn't work. No matter who you have. Oh, Joe Warren's getting 4 yards a carry, but still, it doesn't seem to work.
Mm-hmm. There's definitely got that element. And I mean, I think as well, you've got to see the same aggression that we showed in that second half against the Bucs, against the Dolphins. That Pickett has got to go downfield. He's got to use Pickens. He's got to use Claypool. He's got to use DJ. We've got to be aggressive against this team. And like I said, you eat up the clock, be aggressive. When we get into the red zone, turn it into 7 points, not 3. And that's the only way you're going to be able to beat the Dolphins, in my opinion, is to be aggressive against them.
We have rushing game 86 yards per game. Yeah. That's 28th worst in the NFL. That is 5 yards. This is what frustrates me about, and I know we're talking about the Matt Canada offense, but it really frustrates me. That is 5 yards worse than the average last year. 5 yards worse so far, 91 yards. So what are they not doing? If it's not the big fellas up front, to me, I don't know, maybe it's just no push, but that's pretty bad. 86 yards, 3.4 average per the year. That's a good point. We probably need someone like that, right?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, part of it I think has been the fact that Harris has started the season not fit. That hasn't really helped. Is Harris having a sophomore slump as well? He isn't seeing the gaps as well this year. Is there that as well? Is there too much pressure on Harris this year to succeed? And is the captaincy weighing on him? I don't know. Is there something that's stopping Harris to performing to the best of his abilities?
I just saw, because I like this. If you guys look up on the old internet, I use teamrankings.com, and it's really good for all. There's so many stats. Cleveland actually leads the rushing yards per game at 172. Can you believe that? 172 yards. We would like that once. That's amazing. Like Chicago and Cleveland lead the team in rushing, but obviously they're going really bad as well. Atlanta's up there 165, New York Giants up there 156, and the Steelers are all the way down on 86 per game. And it's like, is it a point where the Steelers just need to consistently keep running the football, or do they need to? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe get more of a lead. I don't know. It's just so frustrating, this team, that so many skilled players and they can't do anything. And it comes down to Matt Canada's offense too.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, isn't it? And it's going to be an exceptionally tough game on Sunday. I think there was a question earlier in the live chat, Mark, saying about what's the odds of the Steelers going into the bye with a 500 record. I mean, what's your take on that?
I think we have a big chance to win this game because you've got to build off momentum for this game. But I would like to see, if we can win this game, go 3-4, then Philadelphia, you got to go anything in the playbook you have, you got to go all out. Because going 4-4 in the bye is a fresh new start. If they were to go 4-4 in the bye, TJ Watt comes back. Hopefully Kazi comes back. Hopefully they start Austin. Hopefully we have Freiermuth. They start using Hayward, more in those in past concepts. They use the 2-back set more. I know it sounds crazy. I have been playing Madden a bit, so I'm getting the ideas in my head. But why don't they use a split back? They have both Najee Harris and Warren in there. I don't know. Yeah. I don't understand why they don't use concepts like that, or they use the shovel pass more. It just seems like everything is exactly the same. It's like run. They have a guy go in motion, and sometimes they'll hand it off. It's the same kind of thing. But If they go 4-4, I would be super excited coming out of the bye versus the Saints at home, and then we verse the Bengals after that 2 in a row. So there's a good chance you get if they were to win. I don't know what you'd be thinking. I'm thinking playoffs. If they win in 2 in a row, if they beat the Eagles, because Eagles have a bye next week, I think. Or this week? No,
Eagles
this week.
are on a bye this week, aren't they? Yeah.
The Eagles have a bye this week, so they're 6-0. So we go into their house at 6-0. That is a massive trap game for the Eagles, and then who knows? And we've always played poor over there too.
Yeah, I think it was in 1965 the last time we won against the Eagles in Philadelphia, which is, considering how great the 70s Steelers teams were, that's a pretty bad record. Perhaps we need to do what the Pens did when because the Pens had a bit of a hoodoo on them as well. When they're playing the Philadelphia Flyers, so some local radio hosts decided that what they'd do is they'd go and perform a witch doctor ceremony on the ice before a game, and apparently we won after it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe Wes Euler and Chris Carter need to go and do some sort of witch doctor dance on Lincoln Financial Field to try and overcome the hoodoo.
It's been since 1947 or something, right? Is it
65? No. I think.
What is it?
65, I think it was.
65, and yeah, I think we're going to lose that game, to be honest. But it's Steel Girls 808 says predictable offense, and it is. If we're going to all see it, just change it up. Like, I don't know, just get things moving, man. Just legit, like, first pass. Remember the days when Big Ben would just do one big pass to Wallace or whoever or Holmes for a touchdown.
Or AB.
Like, just go deep. The very first call, just send someone deep all the way, son. Just rock back, play action pass. Imagine if they're expecting run, right? I know this is my Madden head again, but if they're expecting run, play action, drop back, and just go deep to Pickens, man. 50-yard bomb.
Yeah, definitely. Jared Neville says they need to call the Pigeons in for the Eagles game.
Well, they know where to land.
In the middle. Yeah, let's get the Pigeons back. Let's take the Pigeons down to South Beach, shall we? It's gonna be an interesting one. So, Mark, have you got a prediction for this game against the Dolphins?
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really thought about it just yet, but it's so. I think it's going to be a close one. I'm going to say, I think Steelers can win this, to be honest. I really do. If they can capitalize, they're getting players back, if they're still fired up, if Claypool's still fired up as well, if these guys, they've gotten better. They definitely have gotten better over the time. From the very beginning of the year. Minka's playing back, Flores. There's a lot of ammo. Even if you don't need ammo, there's still ammo there to have. So I'd probably say the thing is, when I call these games now, how many points can the offense score? That's the big thing.
Yeah.
So I might say at this moment in time, they can probably score 24 points. Let's go 24-23. They win.
Okay. So 24-23.
I can't have them scoring more than that. Even that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
George Testin says Seagulls can work too, apparently. Got more chance of getting those in Miami, I suppose, getting some Seagulls. So yeah, I'm gonna go 27-24 Steelers. Chris
27
Boswell,
points.
Yeah, but I'm giving, if you think about it, I'm giving the last two. I'm giving 6 points to Chris Boswell there. So I'm leaving it to
three TDs, 2 field goals.
And one of those TDs, right, here's a bold prediction. One of those TDs will be a Minka Fitzpatrick pick six.
I could see it too, man. I think he's going to be, if he's healthy, I think he's going to have a stellar game. I really do. I think
for this game, isn't he? I mean, he's going up against his former team. His first time going back there with the Steelers to play them, as a Steeler as opposed to being a Dolphin. I think, there's going to be a determination for Minka to show that, to show who he is.
He might knock out Tyreek Hill. He's 10 times bigger than him. He might, those shoulder barges he does, like the kind of tackle he does near the sideline. Yeah. He may rock him. Like, they have to do that. They've got to put some fear in Tua, some fear in the receivers and this is where the game has changed too. And I know you go back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever, even 2000s, receivers were scared to go across the middle against guys like, Brian Dawkins or Ed Reed or Troy or Ryan Clark. They were scared. Almost swore for the first time ever on this podcast, but I didn't. They was so scared, right? And now they're not scared because they can't be touched.
Yeah.
They're like Roy Jones Jr.
Definitely. Steeler Girl 808 says 24-21 Steelers. 007 says 20-17 Steelers. Everyone's got it
all
really
those scores, yeah.
State of the Steelers. Got our good friend Daniel J. Go out and check State of the Steelers on YouTube if you haven't subscribed to that yet. Go and check Daniel, and also his Drunk Turkey show if you like a conspiracy theory or two.
Pretty fun, man. It's a pretty fun show. They're just like a Joe Rogan kind of podcast, chill kind of podcast. Three fellas just talking about everything and nothing. It's a good time.
Yeah, aliens and everything. He put out 27-23 Steelers, and Reginald Rivers says 27-20 Steelers. So a lot of confidence in the Steelers there, Mark, winning on Sunday. So yeah, I mean it's going to be a tight game. It's going to be tough. It's prime time as well. You know, I'm really looking forward to a prime time game, Sunday night football under the lights. It's going to be an exciting game, I think.
It might even go to overtime. I could see overtime too as well. If it's like, 24-21, the Dolphins come back to get a field goal, 24-24. I see like a low-scoring game like that. I don't see a lot of points, but it's time for Kenny Pickett to put on a show, I think. It is time for him to put on a show. 3 TDs, 300 yards. It's time for the Steelers offense to put on a show. Definitely. We have been waiting so long to see this happen, and all the other teams can do it. You look through the week of random games, you'll see teams scoring 48, 35, 42, and you see the Steelers scoring 16, 19, 14. It's not the Steeler way. You talk about the Steeler way. Steeler way is going out there and dominating. They haven't done that. They haven't done that in so long, man. It's crazy. And it starts with Canada.
The Steeler way at the moment seems to be to give every fan a heart attack and a coronary, and leave us on the situation where we're all sweating and worrying about our heart conditions. I think
it's like they're so scared to lose. They don't, that they're not going. They don't win that way either.
Yeah, Claude. When we talked about this earlier, yeah. I mean, God, yeah, I'd take of course, you take a first for him. I mean, anything we can stack up a first, but I don't think even Green Bay are that desperate they would give up a first for him. I don't think that's the situation. I don't know if Green Bay have got a first either. I'm not sure whether they've got a first.
I know who doesn't. I think the Browns haven't got a first till 2030.
Yeah, and the Browns and the Broncos that have a first at about 2087, I think it is in the end.
What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts? I know we're going to end the show soon, but what are your thoughts on the AFC North overall? What's going on? What are your thoughts on the Browns? You happy with their success of losing?
Yeah, I mean, the Browns are a weird one, aren't they? I mean, they've got the talent, and I think it's going to be interesting when I don't want to talk up, I don't really want to name him because I can't stand the bloke. When he comes back, number 4, when he returns, it'd be interesting to see how he changes their team. And yeah, I mean, they just seem to be a cursed organization. They've got the 2 best running backs in the AFC. They've got Amari Cooper. They've got a good pass rush. They've got a good set of linebackers. They've got a good secondary. But yeah, it doesn't really seem that whatever they do changes their fortunes. That there's some sort of curse over Cleveland, and long may it continue.
What about? And I agree with you 100%. Because even you look at some fans, and the fans kind of know it. They're just so checked out. They're just so like over it. You have a good game, and they're consistently losing all the time. What about the Ravens? Are you scared of the Ravens?
The Ravens are a weird team, aren't they? They threaten to be good, and then they just kind of blow it all the time. And they got so many points up against the Dolphins and blew it. They then got so many points up against the Giants and blew it. And I know the Giants are a good team this year, but the Ravens are not like I expected at all. And is it their defense that's questionable? Which, if someone had said to you at the start of the season, it's going to be the Ravens' defense that lets them down, I think you would have thought they were smoking something or drinking too much. So,
Well, Lamar Jackson gave away the interception right near the end, right?
Yeah.
A bit like how we did in the Jets game. We gave away that interception, then we lost. But also you had the Cincinnati Bengals who snuck away with a win over the Saints. Saints kept up with them, and the Saints let go of an easy touchdown to Chase. What's his name? Jamar Chase. So the Bengals are like they're not favorite, but they're winning. They're winning games because they won like 3 in a row, I think.
I think the thing with the Bengals is their line is starting to gel now, and I think that was always the worry. in the first week against us, their line was all over the place. They hadn't played together. There was no sort of gelling that had taken place. But now their line is starting to gel and allowing Joe Burrow to be Joe Burrow. And I think that is the only concern as regards the Bengals. But 007 says, I didn't realise Melvin Ingram was with the Dolphins. That'd be an interesting one for Sunday.
Definitely will be. And also, the Bengals have 1-1. So, right now, this is what I'm saying. If we can win this game, and I think the Ravens might beat the Browns this week, they might go 4-3. If the Bengals lose to whoever they're versing the Falcons, who are 3-3, right? The Falcons could win that game. Somehow they're winning games too.
Yeah,
it's been weird, man. It's been a weird season. Because you know what, as well, I've been watching some of their games. They just seem like they don't care. They're just going to throw the football wherever they want to. They're playing with a bit of moxie, bit of they're kind of sick of being the lonely old Falcons that lost 28-3. They're playing some good football right now too. Browns are 2-4. They can move to 2-5. Steelers going 3-4. We're back in this. We're back in second.
Yeah, exactly.
We're so close. So this is a huge game to get excited about. I know a lot of fans, not you guys in the live chat, but a lot of fans out there, they're saying tank for the top 5. We are so close to being back in this game. If we can win this game, and imagine if we have a good win, Owen, and I'm talking about we're sitting back, drinking our brewskis, and we're enjoying being up by 17 points, something like that, and the Dolphins have to come back in. I would love to see a Brian Flores game where the Dolphins absolutely smashed the Ravens with their concepts and they brought the safety down. Like, just freak tour out a little bit. Just line up, just bring down both safeties.
Safety blitz.
Yeah, just do something. Just go crazy.
George Teston says, didn't the Ravens just sign Deshaun Jackson, which apparently they did?
Yeah, they did, yeah.
I mean, D-Jack he's old, but he is a deep threat. He is a good wide receiver. So that's interesting. They've obviously recognised their passing game is not. Jay Devils made a very funny comment in the live chat about Deshaun Watson, which I'm not quite sure whether I can pull up or not, Mark.
Just leave it there. We know what's going on.
It's funny.
But, he might be back, and actually, I think he might be in another bit of trouble too. So, it is funny how the Browns are in such real bad shape. But if the Steelers can get out of this, we might be the AFC North dark horse to take a run, because 2 big games, and yes, we lost against the Bills, and I freaked out. I put my hand up. I freaked out big time. I was like, the season's over, blah, blah, blah. But we got back against the Bucks. If we can get back against the Dolphins, 4-4 looks sweet.
Yeah,
4-4 looks amazing.
I mean, final thing. I mean, before we do our final thoughts, Mark, what is your record projection going into the bye? Mine is 3. Put mine cards at 3-5.
Yeah, mine's going to be 3-5 as well. I think we win this game and lose next week.
Me too.
That's what I think. But I would love to see win this game and then go all out. Get every single marble you own, go all out, because you have a bye next week.
Yeah.
You have a bye after, so you can rest up after the bye. You have pretty much, 2 weeks or 10 days off or whatever?
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said as well, get Watt back for that first game against the Saints, and it's kind of like we go again, and it's like start of a new season, really, isn't it? If Watt is back for that first game, against the Steelers,
it could be Daniel from Stay of the Steelers was telling me it could be Andy Dalton.
Yeah, it could be. Jameis Winston is injured again, isn't he? So
yeah, so it might be Andy Dalton coming back again. He'd be like, oh no,
the Red Rifle, he's back.
He'd be like, I don't want to play in Heinz Field anymore. I don't care if they change the name to Agrish Stadium. I don't want to play there. I can't play there. And then we have the Bengals after that, right? So it's going to be 2 more games. And if I was a coach, I'd say, look, 1 game at a time. Let's go and defeat these Dolphins. Let's show up exactly the same way they played with the Bucks. Be more precise on offense, and they have a chance. I think they really, really do. They really do. I'm excited, man. It's big. It's big time. You'll be awake at like 4 a.m. or something.
Definitely, definitely. Because I'm off work at the moment. I've got 4 weeks off work after my surgery, so I'm a bit like kind of sleeping during the day and waking up at night, and it's a bit all over the place because of the pain and everything. So, yeah, I definitely will be up all night on that one.
They need to win for you. They need to win this game for you. 3-4 would be fantastic.
I love this suggestion here from Derpy Gaming. Says Claypool for Jair Alexander straight up. Only way I'm trading Claypool. I'd take that. Jair Alexander is their best cornerback. He is absolutely outstanding. So yeah, I would definitely take that one as a trade. But I can't see the Packers been that desperate, to be honest with you.
You never know, but they won't trade him before the game, will they? It won't happen this week.
No, it'll happen. Happen either. It's the 1st of November is trade deadline day, isn't it? So
so maybe after this game.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, thank you to everyone in the live chat for joining in. Some great comments and great questions as well, and some very funny comments. Some of which, of course, we couldn't put on the screen for legal reasons. Thank you, Daredevil, for that. Made me laugh, even though it does hurt to laugh. Mark, what are any final thoughts you want to share with the people? Anything you want to talk about?
My final thoughts is, guys, don't give up. As much as we saw the game with the Bills being 38-3 and it was horrible, right? You have to at some stage and go through adversity. This is what the season's about. It's what being a football fan's about. It's what life's about. If you were to go that side too, it's all adversity. You don't give up. The moment you lose, you don't give up. You keep going. Whatever you're going through, if it's hard times or anything like that, you just keep going. Like, you literally just went to hospital and you're making videos. You're the adversity, suffer through the pain, and there's good things on the other side. You have to do that. This team has to do that. No matter if they're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars, you go out there and play for heart, because someone else will take your spot. And we found that too last week, that secondary wasn't playing. They were injured. The other guys stepped up. Elijah Riley, whoever that guy, he stepped up. Yeah. Arthur Millette, we talked about him a lot. He stepped up. He called the locker room out and said, "You're all fools." He didn't say that, but he said, "What are you're all joking. Go out there and play." And I believe they can do this. If they can put back-to-back wins together, then we will not be a massive underdog against the Eagles. And we could rewrite history and be the first time we win against Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. Because right now, they think they've won that game. Mm-hmm. And this is also another game, too, where every single NFL analyst has chosen the other team to win, the Dolphins. Yeah. And every time they've done that, the Steelers have won.
Yay, keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Definitely, yes, definitely. I agree 100% with what you're saying, Mark. I think, 007 makes a great point. We are the Steelers till the end. Black and gold till we're dead and cold. I think, we fight for the jersey. We fight for this. We fight for those hypocycloids. We battle till the end. It doesn't matter who we are. And so, I think I am really excited for Sunday. Definitely can't wait to, Sunday night football, the big build up and everything, and under the lights. I think it's going to be an epic game.
Just one more thing. It might come down to who's going to be more physical. Who's going to be more physical, right? They have a lot of flashy plays on the Dolphins offense and defense, but who's going to be more physical? I don't see a guy like Melvin Ingram. He didn't do too much for us, but yet he goes to another team and he leads like the Sacks over there or something. He's doing really well over there. Who's going to be more physical? Who wants it more? Tua's coming back, and this is going to be Kenny versus Tua. It's going to be fantastic. So if we get a sneaky turnover, we can't turn the ball over. Can't turn the ball over once or twice. If they turn the ball over to Minka and those guys, I think they're going to be rubbing their hands together saying, we've got this. Because we have some veteran leadership there with Cameron Hayward and those dudes. Cameron Sutton's coming back. Arthur Millette will be fired up again. And, of course, Terrell Edmonds too. Me and Daniel talked about the other day. The Terrell Edmonds is a fantastic player, and everyone was putting some real bad hex on him in the offseason. So, other than that, I think they're going to play a good game.
Yeah, 100%. 100% agree with you. Okay, guys, let's keep the faith. Please make sure to join us as well after the game on Sunday night for the Steelers Syndicate podcast post-game show with myself and Mark, where we'll be reflecting, hopefully, fingers crossed, on a Steelers victory in South Beach against the Miami Dolphins. All good. So, guys, so Mark, you're going to see us out, because I can't actually. I found out the other day when I say, here we go, Steelers, come on, it actually hurts to shout, so I can't do it.
All right. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.